I sit and watch unattractive women address women as if they all have the same struggle. Let me say this one more time so it lands.
Shout out to you guys, man. Testing 1, 2, and 3.
I watch unattractive women address the female race like they all got the same problems. Let me tell you something. If you are 3, 4, or 5, you ain't got no business telling a 7, 8, or 9 shit about the problems of the world, because they don't have the same problems you have. But everybody lie and say they're 7, 8, 9. This is the problem. And if you say, bitch, you a 2, you a dirty motherfucker for even saying that.
That's definitely TikTok all day. It'd be some obese, crazy looking broads talking about, don't you let him, girl.
I like 4s. I can afford 4s.
That's real shit, though. Man, did you hear what he said?
Well, and plus you like what you like, Marv. If you like something, and Corey,
you don't fuck what you like when you ain't got no paper. You fuck what you gotta fuck.
Oh Lord Jesus God.
Ain't no man out there who ain't got no paper fucking the girl of his dream.
I don't know. You that?
That's crazy work, man. That's crazy work.
Every man out there who ain't got no paper is with a bitch they can't wait to do better than.
Yeah, because the bitches I really like, they don't like me back. But
welcome to the real world, Marv.
But with the foes.
Yeah, I be doing pretty well for myself.
Horrible looking women with egos. That's just a slap in the face at the righteousness of the world.
That's crazy work, man. That's crazy work. But I will definitely be I gotta save this. I definitely gotta save this clip. Definitely gotta save this clip. Wait a minute. I'm wondering, how many days in a row have I gone live? This must be this got to be a record of some sort. I think I've gone live every day. Let me check my YouTube real quick. Let me check my YouTube real quick. I don't. By the way, this got to be. I don't know what is going on with people nowadays. Because obviously we are going to talk about Lindsay Clancy. We are going to talk about the obvious. We are going to focus on her. We're going to talk about, postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, and all of this stuff. Bitches is hearing voices and all this nonsense, right? But I just took a glance at Twitter right now, and I see Patrick Clancy trending, the ex-husband of Lindsay Clancy, for obvious reasons. And I don't know why it's trending, but they say, oh, here's Patrick Clancy with his new wife. Of course he got a new wife. The bitch tried to kill his kids. What are we doing? Let me share this with you. Just want to share you what's trending. If you look on the right-hand side, just look on the right-hand side. It says Patrick Clancy spotted with new wife amid ex-wife's murder trial. Duh. Of course he's gonna have a new wife. Like, well, you thought he was gonna stay with the woman, be loyal to the woman that that deleted his kids? Wow. But the way they're making it, oh, he already has a new wife. Good Lord. But like I've said this many times, we've lost it, right? Women have lost it in this country. People don't want to admit this. A lot of people don't want to admit this, but women have lost it in this country. They've lost it. They've lost it. They've lost the plot. We have fostered an environment where women are allowed to lose the plot, and we still treat them like normal human beings. So this is our fault as a society, not listening to the people calling us out. Um, Talking down on other countries that have women in a certain position in society, but they understand how this stuff works. We can go over all of this stuff. We're gonna go over all of this. People were shocked that outside of the courthouse, she had a huge female. All these people showing up. See right here. And you got Frontlines, Turning Point USA, videotaping all these women supporting Lindsay Clancy, and of course, a couple of simp husbands in the back, right? People are shocked. People are, I don't know why they're shocked, but this is the society that we foster. A whole bunch of soccer moms, regular women. So all this, remember all this, these are just OF girls. These are just the girls from Miami, the spiritual home of the manosphere, right? Here we have Congamin Lee. I don't know who this guy is, but here he says maybe the Salem witch trials weren't so insane after all. Look, I've made the case. I've made that case in the past, but you know, some people will try to dismiss that. Nah. There was something to it. Unfortunately, a lot of people got taken advantage of, so that's why that practice is kind of is frowned upon today, obviously. But look at the environment that we have fostered. Look what we have created. One comment said, "I used to read a history book and wonder how humans could commit such great atrocities. I'm starting to get it more and more every day. Because even with the information that we have, look at this. Look at this. So we're definitely going to go over all of we're going to go over all of these things. We're definitely going to go over all of these stories, right? We're definitely going to go over, but this is going to be a short show because I'm cutting this off at 7:00. So this is going to be some very interesting stuff because there's a lot to go over with the Lindsay Clancy stuff. So much to go over. We can go over the woman, like when you're talking about the woman side of it. We can go over the postpartum psychosis versus postpartum depression. We can talk the racial aspect to this. Because that's definitely something we got to tackle. Something we got to tackle with this subject. We definitely got to tackle the race part of it. There's so many layers to this. So many layers. But it's just so funny though, seeing the so-called good feminists. I can't believe women are doing this, and they're siding with a murderer and standing with somebody as evil as this. How about this? The how Lindsay Clancy looks and why she's getting the support that she's getting. We got to tackle that part. Because somebody brought up a great point. If Lindsay Clancy looked like Margot Robbie, those same women that you see supporting her, they would all be saying she needs to go to she needs the death penalty. So there's a lot that we could do with this. Oh, also shout out to the Crimson Cure. I watched her live stream when she was talking about the Lindsay Clancy thing, and she was talking about she was tackling, you know, the racial component about it. And she made some interesting points. She made some very interesting points. But one thing that I do need to push back on is the narrative where, because how, especially how, I'm pretty sure how Crimson grew up and also how I grew up, where you saw white women, they would be the stay-at-home mom, but the dad was making all the money, but he wouldn't be around the house all the time because he's at work or he wants to get away from the wife, and she would quote unquote do everything. But what I would, and it's that resentment, right, is what all of those Caucasian women, this is what they relate to. But the reason I would push back on that is this: today's men, they're not doing that. They're not only are they working, but they're also taking care of the house. They come back from their shift and they're doing the housework, they're doing the laundry, they're doing all these things, or they're hiring a nanny, right? They're doing way more, but women are complaining way more, right? And in Patrick Clancy's case, when I did the research, it was interesting because Patrick Clancy, right here, and I read this, but I had to save this tweet. She had multiple therapists, multiple psychiatrists, her parents, his parents, daily daycare. Also, if you guys read the articles, he would always text her to see how she's doing, what more could he do, and always constantly communicating with her, making sure she's okay. And they had a nanny that stayed with her. So you have a lot of women like this where they're giving literally everything, particularly when you're talking about middle class to upper class Caucasian women, and they're still complaining. And when I saw the list, and really looking back at all the articles I read, it reminded me of how I grew up. That's what I saw. You know what I mean? So like that's literally what I saw. It was just especially with the school that I went to when I was in elementary school and high school as well, where I was going to school with kids where the wife didn't have much to do except be a nuisance. No disrespect to the PTA moms and all these people, the HOA people, but all they were doing was being nuisances while the dad was literally paying for everything or most of this. And a lot of times the mom would have an education herself, but they find a way to find a man that makes way more than them, and they would still have a nanny. So I would always wonder, I'm like, what use are you? A lot of the times, no disrespect. I would literally be like, okay, what's the point? Especially, you'll even have women of today, they will demand, oh, if you want me to stay home, you got to give me a nanny. I'm like, so what's the point of you? This is ridiculous. But anyways, let's start off the show with this story, because this is all a lot of these things are going to tie together. A lot of these things are going to tie together. Let's see if I can find my story real quick. Let me see if I can find my story. It should be on my Twitter saved. Oh, yes. Here we go. There's a woman going viral off Twitter. Let me share the screen with you. Okay. Says woman divorces her husband because there's no intimacy. She expects to use him as her emotional tampon even after leaving him, and she's upset that he doesn't want to do that anymore. Not that they're divorced. Why divorce him at all if he was so good? She still wanted him around. So here we have a woman. She divorced her husband, and even though she initiated the divorce, she still expected him to basically show up for her like like how he did when he was legally married to her. So this is a very interesting example when we talk about female entitlement um, to a man's energy, resources, et cetera, et cetera. So let's take a look at this situation. I have not watched this video yet, so this is a live reaction for me.
I've been divorced for 2 years and we were together for a total of 13. We got married on our 7-year dating anniversary, and then we were married for almost 6 years. And we really split because we weren't much of husband and wife. There wasn't much intimacy in our relationship. And I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about time that's built through daily conversation, experiences, conflict, repair,
And yes, physical, because we already know as soon as you got married, you cut off that sex picket.
when we divorced, I very much wanted our divorce to be our own, just like our marriage was our own. We didn't need it to be a divorce. I did all the paperwork, all the filing. It managed to be less than $300. And I really so much just wanted to be able to maintain like this friendship that we had cultivated for so long, supported each other. We have kids, we'll always be family. Literally, there's nothing worth it to me to sacrifice that relationship. Nothing, not an amount of money, not another person. He was there through stuff, like he knows. And so there's been like a couple times that I've brought up things to him recently of the stuff going on. And today I mentioned that I have a situation that's kind of crazy. And even though I didn't do anything wrong, I'm worried I'm going to be punished for it. And I just received a very long response about
I didn't do anything wrong. Anyway, let me actually slow this down a little bit. It's going a little bit too fast.
how he can no longer continue communicating with me about personal stuff for his own well-being. I'm like, well, I absolutely think that's valid and want what's best for him. It's just another person that I've loved and still love. Kind of shut me out. Like, I'll always be there for him no matter what. And I want to be. We didn't divorce for any other reason than we just weren't husband and wife. We were like best friends. And I did everything for us and our family. And it was exhausting. I was lonely inside my relationship. And that's much lonelier than being lonely alone. I just couldn't do it forever. Not the kind of relationship I wanted to model for my daughter. It's not what I would want for her or my son. I just like wonder what's wrong with me. I can respect it. It's kind of like breaking up again. Like I was never inappropriate, but I get it. It's a lot. My shit is a lot, but I do miss my friend. I've been divorced.
What is wrong with these hoes, bruh? First of all, anybody that's willing to record themselves crying, just in general, you're being a manipulator because you cry in front of the camera, you stop it, you edit it, you do all you're cutting, you're doing all the cuts. You go through all of that and then you decide to post it. That's just, not only is that pure, manipulation. This is, when you talking about narcissism, all of those things, all of these things put together. This is drastic work right here. Let me do a replay because I do want to go over this video one more time. Yeah, let's play this from the beginning. Let's definitely play this from the beginning because this is quite interesting. And apparently, this is not. I don't think this is a skit. And I'll be honest, I haven't done the proper research completely yet, so you got to be very careful with these TikTok videos. But usually you would have somebody be like, hey, this is a skit. So I already kind of looked through the comment section and nobody's saying it's a skit. So let me just do a quick run through. Let me do a quick run through. Yep, this is not a skit. This is not a skit. This is just her. But anyways, let's press play. And also, to find out if a lot of these things, when you know it's not a skit, is when you try to look for the username and then it says username not found. That means they deleted their TikTok because that toxic person basically just got ran off of the social media platform. But anyways, let's press play.
I've been divorced for 2 years and we were together for a total of 13. We got married on our 7-year dating anniversary, and then we were married for almost 6 years.
By the way, fellas, he fell for it. You could tell that she was putting mad pressure on him to marry her. That's how a lot of guys I'm not gonna say some people will say most, but that's how a lot of guys get into these situations where they end up having to marry the hoe because they put mad pressure. If you don't do this, I'm gonna leave. Fuck it, I'll do it then. A lot of guys get in that situation.
And we really split because we weren't much of husband and wife. There wasn't much intimacy in our relationship. And
I'm not surprised about that. I already know as soon as she got married, she cut off the sex. I already know. We all know the type.
just talking about physical and talking about time that's built through daily conversation, experiences, conflict, repair. And when we divorced, I very much wanted our divorce to be our own, just like our marriage was our own. We didn't need it to be a divorce. I did all the paperwork, all the filing.
Meaning you initiated the divorce. Just say I initiated the divorce.
Managed to be less than $300. And I really so much just wanted to be able to maintain like this friendship that we had cultivated for so long.
Like I said, most women, they say that men are more entitled to a woman's body, but I disagree. Women are way more entitled to a man's energy, resources, etc., than the other way around. Women are they feel more entitled. Hence why there's just the laws in and of itself. So much so, I even remember seeing a Judge Judy clip where the woman, she just assumed that she just has more rights over the father just off GP, just because she was a mother. And Judge Judy was like, I don't know if anybody told you, but the father has just as much right. But the way she said the silent part out loud just shows you the entitlement,
Support of each other. We have kids. We'll always be family. Literally, there's nothing worth it to me to sacrifice that relationship. A thing, not an amount of money, not another person. He was there through stuff. Like he knows. And so there's been like a couple times that I've brought up things to him recently of the stuff going on. And today I mentioned that I have a situation that's kind of crazy. And even though I didn't do anything wrong, I'm
of course, I didn't do anything wrong.
worried I'm going to be punished for it. And I just received a very long response about how he can no longer continue communicating with me about personal stuff.
But that means his new girl or his new wife was like, dude, you got to cut this situation out. Or he just finally grew some balls and be like, look, we're divorced. I can't be your stand-in gay best friend just because we had a relationship prior. You can't continue to rob me of my time, my energy, all of these things, texting me all the time for not advice, because really what she means is money. Really, that's what she's really talking about. We were always in communications. We were always, because you kept still dry begging even after the marriage is over, and still relying on him like he's still your husband, even though you're not doing any wifely duties. You still feel entitled to him doing husband duties for you. So it's either he grew a pair or he got a new girl, or both. Two things can be true.
For his own well-being, I'm like, well, I absolutely think that's valid and want what's best for him. It's just another person that I've loved and still love.
Yeah, I want what's best for that. Yeah, that's a new girl. He got a new girl. So it's both. It's really both. Two things can be true.
Kind of shut me out. Like, I'll always be there for him no matter what. And I want to be. We didn't divorce for any other reason than we just weren't husband and wife. We were like best friends. And I did everything for us. And
you know what? I did everything. Hold on. Where's my sound bites? First of all, where's my picture? But yeah, we already know.
Cap.
I did everything. I don't know what I did wrong.
our family. And it was exhausting. I was lonely inside my relationship. And that's much lonelier than being lonely alone. I just couldn't do it forever. It's not the kind of relationship I wanted to model for my daughter. It's not what I would want for her or my son.
Yeah, but you still divorce. in there. I'm talking about like if you divorcing the father of your kids in a marriage while your kids are still in the development years, you clearly don't care about your kids. Like there needs to be like a real good reason. Like I'm talking about not the usual. Oh, he's emotional abusive. No. I need to see like there needs to be a legit reason where I'm talking about your life isn't your not only is your life in danger, but the kid's life is in danger as well. Especially when you're talking about a marriage situation. But it's a whole bunch of these hoes. They'll marry, pop out 1 or 2 kids, and it don't even hit the 5 or 7 year itch. They're initiating the divorces 3 years in, 2 years in. A lot of the times they pop 1 or 2 out. A lot of the time because they're not going to divorce you uh without kids. That's not they're not going to do that. Women are a lot smarter than that. They understand that they need a leverage tool. So they pop out 1 or 2, divorce you in year 3 or 4 of the marriage, and then they claim that they care about kids. It's just wild logic to me. We co-parent, the co-parent, the whole co-parenting nonsense. But I don't even want to go. Let me keep this. I don't want to go on the rant.
Like, wonder what's wrong with me. I can respect it. It's kind of like breaking up again. Like, I was never inappropriate, but I get it. It's a lot.
Well, of course, she doesn't think she's ever been inappropriate, but I'm pretty sure she would do certain shit, try to flirt with him to get more money from him, do certain shit, to get stuff from him. But now he has a girl. I can tell he has a new girl, and new girl ain't having that because she knows exactly what you're doing.
It is a lot, but I do miss my friend. I've been divorced.
Yeah. Anyways, let's look at the public's reaction to this video. Let's look at the public's reaction to the video. Somebody said these tears are performative. She's upset that her husband refuses to play her game anymore, even though she abandoned him for no reason. Exactly. 100%. Adriana Flowers replies, she's crying because she wants validation over why her ex-husband doesn't want to be her emotional tampon anymore. She thought she could just leave him and still use him for her own benefit, and it kills her that he doesn't have to do that. Pure narcissism. Here we have Chad Wolf. He says, someone who edits their video like this is a neurotic psycho. I can't even watch. Facts. Yeah, when I was looking just at the first 5 seconds, that's why I couldn't finish the video when I first saw it. It's just like just such an evil person that I'm looking at right here. Somebody said, this is a spiritually dead woman. Why are you still so attached to a man who didn't do anything? Because the nothing he did actually secured you. He actually did way more than you can even notice. And now your life sucks because it's gone. Hope she enjoys it. She deserves it. Facts. Yeah. Thank you. Shout out to Chad Jacobs. I picked up on this as well. She said, oh yeah, not much intimacy. And I'm not talking about physical. Yes, you please. He goes, she was absolutely withholding sex and is somehow surprised when her husband probably started becoming distant and cold. That's usually when the husband starts being distant and cold, they just think it's because he's cheating. Nah, we gotta peel back the layers. Have you been turning him down for sex? That has to be part of whatever couples counseling, with marriage counseling, whatever that nonsense is nowadays, where the woman gets the leg up on the man. But if I was a counselor, that would be one of the first things I'll be like, okay, so how's your sex life? That would be one of the first things I would even put on the table. Because that's your intimacy. That's it's not just the sex, it's the intimacy of that. So when you talk, when they always like, there's plenty of women now, they'll snitch on themselves and they'll say, "Man, I'm finally happy because my husband stopped initiating, so I can finally, go to bed without having to worry about giving him any." And then they'll complain that their husband doesn't initiate anymore and he doesn't do this anymore. I'm like, yeah, because if you keep turning him down, or he could feel that you don't really want to fuck him, of course he's gonna get cold and distant. You're not reciprocating. Oh man. Yeah, exactly. Somebody said she friend zoned her husband. Exactly. Oh, shout out to Adriana Flowers. We came to the same conclusion. She said yes, she wanted her ex-husband to be her gay best friend. Exactly. She still wanted to use him like he's what somebody said earlier, an emotional tampon. The entitlement is real with that one. Shout out to Chad Jacobs. I don't know who he is, but yeah, he caught on to everything that I said. Somebody said, "Wait, were they best friends or was she lonely? It can't be both." Yeah, she kept saying, "Oh yeah, we were best friends," but you got to understand, like in a woman's mind, a friend in a woman's mind is not what you think, because in a woman's mind is always her. It's always I am the main character. Main character, main character syndrome. So friendship to her is not, it's not like what friendship is to us guys. So this is very interesting stuff. This is some very interesting stuff. Um but yeah, so far so good with that video. I might have to clip this. But oh, whoa, I just realized my whole background is gone. Oh shoot, my whole background was gone. I didn't even notice. Holy. So let me put that back up. Let's take this off the screen. Also, in the meantime, I just want to take one search. I'm gonna do one simple search on Instagram real quick. I just want to see something. I just want to see. I just want to see if I'm missing anything, if anything else is trending on Twitter. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything, because it's crazy the stuff that will trend while you're streaming. The things that will trend while you're streaming is some interesting stuff. Um, yeah, I think I'm all caught up. So, anyways, let's move on to the next story. By the way, Andrew Wilson's been on some weirdo ish. He said after the debate, he said in the now deleted stream, I don't know if it's deleted, but I think it's behind a paywall. But he said that by Friday, I will have all my stuff together, the proof and all that. I'm like, okay, we'll see. You better have all your ducks in a row. You better have all your chickens, all of that. All of that. You better have all of that in a row. All right, here we go. Let me share another video with you. Another TikTok queen, Asian queen. Another TikTok Asian queen looking for Chad. Let me share the screen with you. Let me share the screen with you. Here we have this chick. We have modern Asian woman from TikTok breaks down crying in her car because a man that she's quote unquote talking to told her to stop insistently calling him all the time. So you already know what they mean by talking to. So she's the side chick or the friends with benefits, and she's blowing up his phone. So this is some interesting stuff. Let's take a listen to this situation right here.
You know, I really hate being stuck with this stupid fucking brain of mine and how my fucking mind works. Because tell me how this man I'm trying to talk to texts me saying, "Hey, sorry, can you stop calling me 24/7? I'm trying to do stuff. I'm okay with talking to you, but you call way too much." Like, yeah, obviously, if someone calls you 5 times a day, every single fucking day, that's a lot. And that's valid. His reaction is valid. But for some reason, my fucking brain can't fucking comprehend that. Because my brain goes, oh, if I don't talk to you all day, every day, something's wrong. You're leaving me. Something's fucking wrong. Mind you, I met this man like 3 weeks ago. My stupid BPD brain.
Oh, here we go. BPD. They always want to claim BPD. Anyways.
New favorite person. I haven't had a favorite person in years. Because I fucking hate it. Like, I literally just had to do one fucking thing, and that's not blow his fucking phone up. But I can't fucking do that for some reason. And now it feels like my life is fucking over because of a stupid fucking man. Does that sound dramatic? Yeah. It is fucking dramatic. I know it's fucking dramatic, but it doesn't feel dramatic. It feels like my life is actually fucking over.
Yeah, this is typical female shit right here. You got to be very careful, men. This is why I know we have certain watering holes, right? This conversation is not for every man here. Certain men have it set up where we have our watering holes. We have certain women we already know we could just call and then they're down, right? Some of them are cool, some of them are not. So, and we need to be careful of who we choose as like the women that we choose to be, you know, our quote unquote watering holes. Okay. When we say, hey, you got to avoid bitches with hairstyles like this. I remember, I think I told you guys, any woman with that, these wannabe golf, these wannabe emo chicks, you know, self-hating Asian women, no disrespect, women with tattoos. She has a whole bunch of these red flags, I'm already looking at, right? So before we even do a deep dive on her, I just want to pull up her TikTok if it's still there. Now, to her credit, at least she admitted to her being the toxic one, at least. But it still sounds crazy. It still sounds crazy coming from her. So her name is Katie Coin. It's Katie Coin. That's her name. I think I found her. Okay, we got, yeah. Because she already looks, no disrespect to her, but she already looks like a red flag. No disrespect to her. So when I say these things, when I say, hey, you might have to avoid these chicks, it's not that, damn it, look at that tattoo, golly. But it's not that I think she's a bad person because of how she looks like. It's just certain things you can't be surprised. You just can't be surprised if certain things, if certain characteristic traits come out the bag from somebody like this. You can't be surprised. Because a woman like this, she thinks she's different. Every woman thinks they're different. Every woman thinks they're something special and something that a man has never seen before. And she looks exactly like every chick she looks like every chick to avoid. The average, she literally looks like the average normal chick that you expect that you're gonna have to avoid later on down the line if you fuck with her a couple times, right? She looks like every chick. No disrespect to her, right? I've had a chick like this, so it's not, it's no disrespect. It's just you gotta understand they're always gonna have some kind of some sob story. They're always gonna have some shit. Oh, somebody betrayed, something of betrayal and all this nonsense. It's always gonna be a victim story with someone like this. Just understand that coming through. So if you can't be shocked when the drama comes. It's when the drama comes from a woman like this. But anyways, let's do a quick run through again. Let's do a replay. We're gonna run through this thing one more time.
I really hate being stuck with this stupid fucking brain of mine and how my fucking mind works. Because tell me how this man I'm trying to talk to texts me saying, "Hey, sorry, can you stop calling me 24/7?"
Now, I guess people will take that situation and say, man, some men are dying from thirst and then some men are drowning. But this is not, I'm telling you, she's kind of being a little, in this situation, this guy clearly is way above her league. So this is clearly a Chad that she ran into with options. And with a situation like that, women will catch themselves if it is a Chad. Like there's a good percentage of women that when they are messing with a man outside their league, they'll catch themselves and they'll be like, oh man, I'm catching feelings and I'm doing too much. The worst thing though, and you could tell the man that she's messing with, he already told her up front what it is, that I have multiple women, I have this. So that's why she's catching herself. This is why she's like, man, I'm doing the most. Because clearly this man was honest and upfront with her. Now, the worst thing you can be is if you are a regular man and then she catches feelings for you and you're not obeying her, or she's calling your phone and you not picking up. This is where people start that's when you start getting the key to your car starts getting keyed. This is when the stalking begins. This is where you're gonna have to start blocking her from multiple platforms and all this stuff. So that's the trap with a woman like this, right? They're not gonna do I will say most times they're not gonna OD act out of character for an honest Chad. And when I say an honest Chad, meaning a Chad that she knew had multiple holes, or a Chad or a Tyrone that was upfront with her, that told her what it was. This is just a friends with benefits situation, right? And a lot of times they'll even take accountability for catching feelings, believe it or not. But that's how I can tell this is that kind of situation. The guy already told her, like, look, I already told you what this was. This is not a relationship. We just chilling, right?
Trying to do stuff. I'm okay with talking to you, but you call way too much. Like, yeah, obviously, if someone calls you 5 times a day, every single fucking day, that's a lot. And that's
crazy. She's crazy. 5 times a day. Oh man.
His reaction is valid. But for some reason, my fucking brain can't fucking comprehend that.
Yeah, if she calling you more than them credit card people, if you like, have you guys ever owed money on a credit card and then people start calling you? If she's calling you more than that, and this is just supposed to be a friends with benefits situation, you fucked up. Oh, and I'll say this is one thing that being a Chad will not save you from. This is something that being a Chad will not save you from most times. If you are a Chad Or how about or even worse, if you're just a regular dude or you're still up there in status, if you have a side chick that you messing with and you don't tell her that you're actually like you're messing with her, and then you're saying, "Oh, I'm not looking for anything serious. Let's just have fun," and then she sees you the next day with a real relationship, she is going to blow up your world. I'm talking about she is going to make your life hell. She's going to say that you broke her heart, you did this, you were abusive, even though you were never in a relationship with her. But if she sees you 2 weeks from there or like a week later, I'll say, especially if you cut it off, with her, and then she sees you in a relationship with another chick. Oh, she's gonna mess you up. She's gonna mess you up. So that's something that even being a Chad might not be able to to save you from. So please be careful of these types right here.
Because my brain goes, oh, if I don't talk to you all day, every day, something's wrong. You're leaving me. Something's fucking wrong. Mind you, I met this man like 3 weeks ago. My stupid BPD brain is like.
They always claim BPD. They always claiming bipolar personality disorder or borderline personality disorder, but they like to claim that bipolar shit. They never claim HPD or NPD. When I say HPD or NPD, I'm talking about narcissistic personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder, right? These two things are really what I'll say most women they have that, but they'll never claim it. They like to claim bipolar. They like to claim, we're going to talk about this later, postpartum and all these. They like to claim OCD and all these. These are the ones where basically they use those terms because these are very broad diagnoses. Like these are very broad diagnoses. So if she claims that, she gets to excuse herself from really shitty behavior, right? But it's kind of hard to excuse yourself from shitty behavior if you're an actual, diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder or diagnosed histrionic personality disorder. So that's a whole nother discussion for another time.
Oh, new favorite person. I haven't had a favorite person in years because I fucking hate it. Like I literally just.
And you already tell this is a really. I'm not saying she's a bad person, but she's a bad person when it comes to relationships. If you have a woman saying, "This is my favorite person," I'm looking for my person. Any woman talking about I'm looking for my person, that is a narcissistic woman.
Because I fucking hate it. Like I literally just had to do one fucking thing, and that's not blow his fucking phone up. But I say favorite person in years. My stupid BPD brain is like, oh, new favorite person. I haven't had a favorite person in years. Because I fucking hate it. Like I literally just had to do one fucking thing, and that's not blow his fucking phone up. But I can't fucking do that for some reason. And now it feels.
Yeah, so shout out to her for at least admitting that that's her way of her admitting that she's in the wrong and that she caught feelings.
Like my life is fucking over because of a stupid fucking man. Does that sound dramatic? Yeah. It is fucking dramatic. I know it's fucking dramatic, but it doesn't feel dramatic. It feels like my life is actually fucking over.
Yep. This is typical behavior, typical stuff. Anyways, let's look at some of the comments. I am interested in some of the comments. Jason Vaughn Holmes said, "Fam, I had to tell a Thai woman to chill out because she would text, and if I didn't respond right away, she would trip. I told her this can't work out. I have things to do during the day besides responding to you. We only be dealing with each other for 2 weeks." He said, "We've only had been dealing with each other for 2 weeks." I'll say this, yeah, Asian women can be very clingy in general. Like if they really like you, they can be, I'm talking about the most clingy. Or if they are attached to you, because there's a difference between like a woman really liking you for you or a woman being attached to you. There's a difference. If she's attached to you, meaning like you're married or she relies on you for everything, she is going to be clingy. I mean, you're not going to be able to go anywhere without her, right? There's pros and cons to that kind of behavior. Somebody said, I bet money she's self-diagnosing herself. This is so weird. Instead of actually going to get help, they will seek the comfort of women on the internet to mess up their life even more. And we're supposed to feel bad? Nah. Uh-oh, here we go. So Cam Dax says this beach is crazy, but it probably grips like gorilla. But it's mentalities like that, then you end up with a crazy woman that you can't get rid of. You end up impregnating a woman that you can't get rid of. So stop putting that nonsense in people's head, because now this is why you have dudes be like, oh man, all crazy bitches have good punani and all this stuff. I don't try to feed into that narrative. I want peace, right? Mike says she was told to chill and she didn't. The man wanted peace, not her blowing up his phone because of her insecurity. She couldn't, and now she's doing the same thing the rest of them do who can't get out of their own way, crashing out in videos. Yeah. And she knows that she's driving her own self crazy and she still can't help herself. Right? Somebody said no man wants a clingy woman. You really want to deal with 74 missed calls when you check your phone at lunch break. Yeah, or especially if you got like one of those like Latino women that go crazy when you don't answer their call. Mm-mm. I just saw a nonsensical comment. So somebody said a black man would have treated her better. Asian women need to stop white worshiping, and that black worship, I guess, start black worshiping. This is a nonsensical comment. This is a nonsensical comment. You know what that comment reminds me of? I remember doing a video where there was a let me take this off real quick. There was a situation where I shared a video with you guys. It was a black woman making 400K a year, and she did a video with a financial consultant, and her husband is, regular he's not necessarily Caucasian. He's from, South America, right? So that's basically her trophy husband. She got with him because of his genetics, right? But he's not as obviously he's not going to have as much money as her, right? But here she is, she's on the financial consultant show because she's trying to push him to get all this money. But I'm like, he's already making 70K a year. You make 400K. You're supposed to be taking care of him, right? And I remember seeing that video and I was pissed off because I was like, okay, if you're the woman, and what's the point of women getting all this money, being the breadwinner, if you're not going to do breadwinner things, if you're not going to take on that responsibility? And here you had, and here I am, I'm triggered about that, right? And here you have stupid black dudes, respectfully, in the comments talking about, oh, see, that's what happens when you dating a white dude. I'm sitting there like, you guys, I'm like, is that all you think about is race? I'm like, is that all you saw with this situation? Because that's not what I saw. I'm talking about, that's not what I saw at all. I'm sitting there looking at a dynamic which is literally ruining the country. Ruining societies as we speak. And people are caught up on, oh man, because she dated. It would be the same thing if she was dating a black dude. Now she may have not end up going on a financial consultant, show if she was dating a black dude in that same position. But what happens is you'll have black. The only racial component in that situation that you should be exploring is that you have a large percentage of black women that will date a European or date a white dude, or marry a white dude in hopes of being in hopes that his whiteness connects can connect himself to more money, and once they're disappointed about that, then they leave the dude, right? So that's probably the only avenue that you should be taking when it comes to that. But other than that, that's just it's just ridiculous talk. Just ridiculous talk. Or we can also talk about how you'll have black women, they will marry or date poor white dudes and then lie on social media like they're getting taken care of, and meanwhile they're paying for everything with the white dude. They're paying his car, they're paying his whatever, but to keep up looks and appearances on social media, they'll make it seem like it's something else. I mean, we could talk about that, but other than that, let's not be lazy with our diagnosis. Come on now. Shout out to Pyro in the chat. I forgot to send you that message, so I apologize about that. But I'm gonna send you the message eventually. Eventually. Oh man. But yeah. I would say this with a chick like this, you gotta be very careful, because she is every chick. Because she seems well. Let me show you the chick again. She seems well measured. People be like, well, at least she took some accountability for being delusional, and all these things. But just understand, if you're a regular dude, you're gonna have to not only pay full price, but still also deal with her stalking you and making sure you're in line, and her being clingy. She only caught herself because she was with an honest Chad, or with a dude, a honest dude that gets a whole lot of hoes. But you, as a normal dude, she's gonna keep that same behavior and make your life a living hell. And it sucks because a chick like this, she thinks she's different, but she's not. I look at a chick like this, it's the bar is so interesting right now. I don't know what I'd rather call it, a high bar or a low bar, but it's so interesting. I'll say this: the bar is so low now that we will run into a female and we'll see a woman that's regular looking, that has no highlights in her hair, no tattoos, no crazy makeup. If we find a chick that's in the wild and she has no tattoos, she doesn't hate Republicans, she's normal looking, not a fake blonde, we look at that as, man, that is a rare woman. Oh man, they've said the stats. They said I think like what's it, 60 to 70% of Gen Z women have tattoos. So you just expect to see the tattoos. You expect the mental illness. You expect the self-diagnosed autistic bitches, the bitches that want to self-diagnose, the Amanda Seals type bitches, self-diagnosing as an autistic person, and self-diagnosing as having BPD and all these disorders. You be or you're shocked when you running into a young woman that doesn't have an OnlyFans or is not even thinking about that. A woman that has a college degree that is not in that's not in the it's not an arts degree. A woman with a degree in STEM and that actually earned their grades. It's I don't even know what to call that. It's a high bar for them, but it's actually an extremely low bar. So that's where we are right now. It's very interesting. Power says he says they do that. I saw that with the bald white dude who was buff with the black. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think I did a little segment on them one time during a live stream where it was like a black woman that already had 2 or 3 kids from a previous situation, and she found a white dude, like a real big, white dude, bald white dude, and they would do like skits, not necessarily skits together, but they would do videos of them stretching together and showing, the physical dynamic, and he pays for everything, but meanwhile it was really her. She was paying for everything and just keeping it up for looks, and nobody would have figured it out until she went live herself. She went live on Instagram herself because she was drunk and told off on him. And I'm talking about, this woman is so toxic. This woman is so toxic that even her own kids sided with him, the stepdad. Like, wow. just wow. I mean, if you got the stepkids siding with the father, and you the biological mom, and you're paying for everything, and they still siding with the stepdad, that means you as a mom, you are a terrible human being. Man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how this stuff is. But yeah, I remember that story. And then she tried to save face. I'm like, bitch, you just ruined your whole brand overnight because you can't handle your freaking liquor. You ruined your whole brand. You had all these B-dubs thinking that they could all get that. Not understanding you have to pay for that. Right? Told you, there's a lot of Chads out there. They're doing their things. They could do things, but they're broke. I know a lot of dudes that are in that position, and they end up being basically a hunk for hire, later on in life. But anyways, yeah, chicks like this, just understand this, because I could just look at this chick and I already know she's mentally ill. Yeah, I don't want. Like, if you see a chick like this, I already know. I already know she crazy. I don't have her. I don't need her to tell me that she's suffering from this. She's suffering from that. I already know she crazy. Oh, she dressed like this on her for her birthday. Oh, she crazy. I'm thinking this is like a pageant video. No, she just dressed like this on her birthday. Yeah. She in a run club. Yeah, any broad in the run club. Oh Lord. She has literally all the signs. So I will also tell dudes, or even the dudes that's getting a lot of women, be careful who you choose as as your watering hole. Oh man. Yeah, any broad in a run club. People want to talk about, these be the same broads calling women pick-me's and all these things, and these bitches be in run clubs. These bitches be doing co-ed soccer when they can't play. No disrespect. They be doing all these things to be around certain types of dudes themselves, or for them to hook up with certain types of dudes, but then call other women male-centered. Please. Pyro says, how horrible of a mom you have to be if your own flesh and blood made from you don't want nothing to do with you. I'm talking about, and those were like little kids. They're little kids, and they see their mom it's like, as soon as they see their mom yelling at this man, they're just like, oh man, here go, my mom's tripping again. And those kids don't look more than 6 or 5 years old. One probably looked about 8 years old or 7 years old, but these were little kids, and they were just like, kind of like, they didn't even know what to do. I saw some of the kids coming up to the white dad and hugging him. I'm like, how bad of a woman you got to be, bro? Wow. But anyways, I forgot what the name of that couple was, but yeah, she ruined her brand overnight. You could be like, yeah, you could be a horrible broad. Like, you could be a horrible, ugly broad and still be winning in life, especially in America. Right? But anyways, right now we are in a situation where um we have to really assess today's mothers. This shit where, man, we got to keep the kids with the mom, mama knows best. Those days are over. Judges, first of all, judges need to, particularly these boomer judges, they need to, this is a different time. This is a different time. These women do not love their kids, bro. We're just living in a different time. Because right now, what's happening is this is one of the main reasons why women want to normalize, mental health and all these things, bipolar and postpartum, and make it normalized, is so they can have an excuse when they potentially or eventually harm harm their child. So right here, I saw this via the New York Post on Twitter. Here it says deranged mom filmed herself pouring hot wax on her kids and starting a fire in the kitchen. What type of evil person would post themselves pouring hot wax on their kids? The reason people will ask, why don't you go off on the abusive men or more than the abusive women? Because the abusive women, they don't even know. In their minds, they're not even doing anything wrong. They don't even hide the wrongdoing. That's how far off of reality we have allowed them to go, where where they just think they can just do evil shit and get away with it. And what abusive man would videotape themselves being abusive? You have abusive women, you have pedophilic women videotaping themselves being pedophilic and being abusive. They just think it's just, oh, I'm just doing life. All right, let's go over the story though via the New York Times. Let's go over the story. But this is why you got to go hard. Anyways, reading from the article, it says deranged wannabe influencer mom filmed herself pouring hot wax on her kids and starting fire in kitchen. Just straight child abuse, right? Here it says a deranged wannabe influencer mom has been busted after posting disturbing videos showing her pouring hot wax on her two daughters and starting a fire in her kitchen. Fire crews were called to Melissa Campos Sanchez's home in Miami, Florida on Sunday over the blaze, just a week after her estranged husband reported fears for his kids who remained with his suicidal ex, according to an affidavit seen by people. So here he's in a custody situation with his ex-wife, and somehow the court still seemed it fair to have the kids stay with a woman who clearly has mental health problems, who clearly is mentally ill. But they know the reason why they're never going to change that system where you can just continuously file and they'll just keep, and they're more likely to give the kids to the mom because they know this is going to be a repeat customer. This is going to be our best customer. If you give the kids to the dad, he's not going to he's not going to be trying to subpoena his own wife for money and shit. He's not going to be doing all this, having her all up in the courts, trying to get money from her all the time. He's going to be just trying to raise his kids. So the judges and the people of the law, they will leave. They know that the kids are going to be in a worse situation in terms of abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, all of these things. Even though, like, if those kids stay with the suicidal mom, they're more likely to be hurt. The stats show that moms are more likely when it comes to abuse. They're going to abuse their kids way more than the than the average adult. And even knowing all of these stats and knowing all these facts, the courts will still be like, just do 50-50. And here the dad reported this to the proper authorities, or sorry, her past actions to the authorities, and they did nothing. Right? Here it says authorities soon found two videos the 26-year-old mom of two shared with 55,000 Instagram followers showing her dancing provocatively around her kitchen in a silver mask, singing in Spanish while twerking and lifting her short dress, exposing her underwear. Here she is twerking, singing, half naked, burning wax, burning wax on her kids. And no DCF in sight, no child protective service and in services in sight. I mean, what's the point? They say that she then poured liquid onto a pile of clothes and watched joyfully as it burst into flames. She also shared a video showing her pouring hot wax on her young daughters. The video also showed her pouring hot wax from a lit candle onto her chest, while another clip showed her dripping molten wax onto her two crying daughters. Her eldest daughter told the police that she and her younger sister saw their mom start the fire and throw a glass mug on the floor while dancing before extinguishing the flames with a bowl of water, according to authorities. Investigators allegedly found the silver mask, a flammable liquid, and a lighter at the home while responding to the fire. Campos Sanchez's husband, who was not at home at the time, told investigators the couple was going through marital issues and he was staying with his parents, according to People magazine. Oh Lord, look at these pictures, bruh. This bitch is. They say Campos Sanchez was arrested and charged with child abuse and arson. I don't know if she's going to stay in. I don't think she's going to stay in custody, though. The husband also told police his wife had attempted suicide shortly before the incident and said he contacted the sheriff's office a week earlier over fears about his children. The mom regularly posted online mostly glamorous shots of her dancing and working out. There were also alarming warnings of her behavior, however, including a series of images on August 6th showing her posing with a handgun in her mouth, which she claimed in the caption was just a toy. That's the picture I just showed you right here. Crazy work, right? Said Campos Sanchez was arrested on Monday and charged with child abuse, child neglect, and first-degree arson, right? But it should be pretty straightforward that she should not have custody of her kids again. But they're still going to have to go to court. They're still going to have to spend money. Sorry, the man is going to have to spend some money in the court. He's going to have to break off some serious bread to make sure the kids stay away from her, because it seems like no matter what they do, they try not to separate the kids from the mom, right? So this is some very interesting stuff right here. Shout out to Reaper Rail in the chat. Yeah, that's true. Pyro says men need to stop being with nutcases. And that's why I've always rejected that premise where, oh man, all crazy women have the best punani. No. Don't fall for that shit. Don't fall for that shit. You must always prioritize peace. You must always prioritize, your well-being, your kids' well-being, et cetera, et cetera. Because these will be the same dudes that be like, well, your single moms have the best punani. I've seen people post this nonsense and oh, fat women have the best. Dude, stop. Pyro says it's just as bad as women draw criminals and offenders. But let's move on to the main story. So here we have this Lindsay Clancy incident that we must go over. We must go over this. I'm going to go over this now, and I will definitely go over this with some pace. I'm definitely going to be reporting this story with some urgency because there's a lot of things that we need to go through when it comes with this case. So Lindsay Clancy, for the people that might not know, right? Lindsay Clancy, she is a 36-year-old Massachusetts woman currently on trial for the January 2023 strangulation deaths of her 3 young kids. And the reason why this trial is going as viral as it is because her defense argues that she suffered a severe psychotic break due to postpartum psychosis. So now everybody is now trying to connect to this case. A lot of women are trying to sympathize with this case because of postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, etc., etc. So the defense is trying to use this so she can avoid a serious murder charge, right? So let me see if I can bring up a picture of the broad to show to you. Let me see if I can bring up a picture of her. Just to help you guys out. Let me not leave y'all hanging. Let me put a picture up. Or I could just search her up. Let me do this. Let's go search up Lindsay Clancy. I don't know if I can bring up a image of her. Let me see. Let me put the image. I'm gonna put the I'll put the overlay on. I'll put the overlay on. It's no worries. Yeah, we could just do that. We'll put the overlay on. Yep. So this is Lindsay Clancy right here. And I chose this picture because how she looks factors in all of this too. Because we're not just talking about just her race. We're just talking about her physical look, right? So this is all going to come into play in a little bit. There's a method to this madness, right? So it's very interesting. It's very interesting stuff. Now recently, what you have is a situation where she's gaining fans. She's gaining so much female support because a lot of them can relate to her. And a lot of men are looking at this and they're just like, what is going on in this country where you have a woman that strangled her 3 kids to death? She admits to doing this and women are on her side because what? They relate to her, they can relate. So now if you are a man with a wife, and if you have a wife that sympathizes with this woman, even after all the details came out that showed that her husband was doing everything for her, he worked at home. She sent her husband out to run errands so she can strangle her kids. So even after knowing all of this, if you are a husband and you have a wife, right? If you have a wife that sympathizes with her, you might be in trouble. Or if you have kids with a woman that sympathizes with her, this is interesting because now we gotta really look at the women that are sympathizing with her, that are supporting her. We have to really take a look at them. These are teachers. These are people in politics. Trust me, there's going to be a politician that There's going to be a female politician that's going to that's going to speak out for her. Watch. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Now, we really have to look at who these women are. Where they say that they can relate, where they're saying that they can relate to a woman and understand where a woman's coming from, where they're talking about she hears voices and all these things, and they don't, you men don't understand what it's like to have postpartum and all this. We really need to take a look at these women and be like, who are they? We have to like, you know how women they'll try to dox you just for saying you just think women should be cooking and cleaning. Then now all of a sudden they want to dox you. Oh man, we really need to find out who these women are, because I'm looking at a lot of I think a lot of if we took a look at the demographic, what type of women are doing this, I bet you it's going to be a lot of nurses. Not only a lot of nurses, but it's also going to be a lot of teachers. And I'm talking about the occupations of all the women that sympathize with Lindsay Clancy. Is going to be a lot of stay-at-home moms, nurses, teachers, and basically all the occupations or non-occupational women that we tell men to avoid when it comes to serious relationship. I'm pretty sure if we really did like a tally or a survey, right, of what occupation are these people that are sticking up or quote unquote sympathizing for Lindsay Clancy, is going to be the same list that I made. By the way, I think in my list I hope I didn't forget stay-at-home moms, but stay-at-home moms are probably, they low-key might be number one in terms of women that are aspiring to be stay-at-home moms, because when you divorce them, they're going to take you for the cleaners because they don't have no job, allegedly. So I hope I added that in the honorable mentions, or I probably spoke about it a little bit. So it's going to be the stay-at-home moms, nurses, teachers, right? I think it's going to be, of those three, of the demographic, is going to be those three. And then obviously women that participate in the arts, liberal unemployed women, right, that are still living off their liberal unemployed 30-year-olds, right, with bachelor's degrees of gender studies and all these things. Those are going to be the type of women that are sticking up for Lindsay Clancy. I want to show something. Let me see if I can show something real quick. Right. So we have this aspect, right? Let's show this tab. And let's take out the overlay. So here we have a situation. Here we have Nick Sorter. I don't know who this guy is, but I guess he's from Fox News, or he's an anchor on Fox News. Here he says, "What the F? Hundreds of women are outside the courthouse right now supporting Lindsay Clancy, who strangled her 3 kids to death. Lindsay is not the victim here. Her 3 kids are. This is absolutely sickening." But I said this earlier, we have fostered this society.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look at all these women, guys. Look at all the supporters. Do these look like OF models, right? The OF models that be on whatever podcast or Fresh and Fit, Daily Rap Crew, etc. Red Pill Lions. Does this look like? Remember? These guys that they don't want to debate real educated women and all this. Do these look like OF models to you? Let me take off the sound. Look at these women. These are teachers, These are female professionals. I've had a theory, especially we got to find out where these school teachers work. We have to know where, especially if there's teachers there, we need to find out where they work. I've always had this theory, and I think people are starting to really entertain this theory. And I don't know if, oh yeah, I've said this on this channel. I believe you have female teachers purposely tanking young male students. The reason why I've believed this, I've believed this since I was a kid, mind you. This is something that I believed even when I was I'm talking about when I was 10 years old, 9 years old. I believe this. I believe you have female teachers tanking boys' grades. The reason why I believe this, sorry for me to repeat myself, the reason why I believe this is because that's the first thing they'll say. Women are more educated than men nowadays, and we're doing this. Oh, they always try to bring that up as much as they possibly can, and to say that, oh, women are doing better here. They're smarter than men now. They're doing, and we really have to look at how you have all these boys. They're all I'm like, so all the boys are just struggling in school. Why is that? How's that? How is that happening? But a lot of the times when you look at the dynamics that happen in school, because even when I was growing up, you'll have the whole class. It'll be the whole class talking, and then the teacher asks us to be quiet. We don't be quiet, and then all of a sudden we'll probably eventually be quiet, and then the female teacher will just casually say, "You see, look at the young women. They're not making noise." They will always do that. They will always do that. Any chance that they could, to make it seem like it's only the boys causing chaos, causing mayhem. Meanwhile, the girls are doing the same thing, if not worse. And you have a lot of teachers just fostering that idea when it comes to open-ended questions, when it comes to reading comprehension, but specifically when you're doing subjects that require open-ended responses and all these things. I just remember female teachers getting mad at certain dudes that would be straight to the point, and they wouldn't explain their work. They wouldn't explain their work. They wouldn't show enough of their work, so they would take off points. I remember all of these things when I was younger. So I can only imagine what it is now, especially with the open misandry that is just normalized. So we need to find out where these people work. And I bet you a lot of these are teachers. I know a lot of these are going to be nurses. I know a lot of these are stay-at-home moms. But we really need to look into this. I'm not shocked because I've seen this since I was a kid, but we really need to find out where these people work. But for some reason, when it comes to stuff like this, I don't see no hackers. I don't see no hackers doing their due diligence. I don't see even the women are so quick to call certain people out. And I don't see women doing no Google searches, doing no Google reverse image searches to find out where these people work, where they're LinkedIn. I mean, somebody says something racist, then we can find their where they work, their address, and all that. But something like this, for some reason, nobody's doing their due diligence. Nobody's pushing the envelope. We need to find out where these people work. Trust me, I bet you most of these are teachers. And people wondering why their sons are struggling at school. And these are the people that are teaching your sons. We have another example with a famous female TikTok. I think her name was like Drew something, and she ended up, I guess, doing a debate on the whatever podcast with that clown Andrew Wilson. And after the debate, she was talking about online abuse and all this nonsense. But she was a teacher. I think her name was Drew or something, Drew the feminist. And I remember something happened on Instagram where she liked a very openly misandrous comment. And then she removed her like from the comment, but like the comment was crazy. It was like something about men need to die or something, or all men are this. It was a very misandrous comment, and she liked it. And people pointed it out that she liked that comment, and she removed her like. So it's very so these are the teachers that we're dealing with. These are the people that are in charge of your sons. So let's not even go over when you're talking about the nurse aspect, where you're dealing with nurses that could give a fuck about you. So basically, imagine now all the shit that they used to ignore about how white female nurses were treating, black female patients or black male patients. Now imagine this now spread towards all men, specifically all young men. So you have these nurses in charge of taking shots, drawing blood, writing down your results. This is some interesting stuff. This is something that we really can't just sweep under the rug. But I want you, like I said, I want you to notice. Look at this crowd of women. I don't see no models in there. I don't see no shit. I don't even see a whole bunch of Gen Z women in there. Believe it or not, I'm looking at a whole bunch of millennials, probably a couple older Gen Z, because white women age really bad. But I see mostly millennials and Gen X in this crowd. I'm seeing Gen X and millennial women in this crowd. Mostly millennial women. So this is a very interesting observation right here. This is some very interesting stuff. But I'm not shocked. I want to see, let me look from the Turning Point USA page. I want to see their reaction. Exactly. Somebody said if any of these women have jobs around children, they should be immediately fired. But people are not going to dox them. They're gonna dox undead chronic. they gonna dox everybody else for just for saying like a motherfucker will just say a woman needs to be a little bit more obedient. Women need to stop divorcing their husbands at nauseum and doing these things, and you get doxxed. Like, I'm talking about simple shit that they'll dox you for. Simple shit. They'll dox you. But you have women outside of a courthouse. Women that look like that they're part of the normal society. These are normal looking women. And they're out there supporting and even celebrating a woman who strangled 3 of her kids to death. And we're supposed to act like, it ain't no big deal, bruh. This is really bad. This is really, really, really bad. But anyways, moving on. Moving on. Let's get back into what I saved. Right? Okay. So speaking of influence and young women and who's connecting with the case, et cetera, let's look at this news report. So recently, this happened in the last 24 hours. The court session had to come to an abrupt pause, and it's going to resume. It's probably going to resume. You probably had to resume in another 24 hours. But something happened in the court where it had something happened where now the judge has to individually question every single juror. And I think I already know. And somebody said here, right? We look at the breaking news. It says Lindsay Clancy murder trial came to an abrupt halt for the day after the judge individually questioned every juror for reasons that have not been addressed. The pause came after the defense's final witness, hospital chaplain Sheila Kavana, testified that Clancy said she heard a voice warning that she and her children would not be safe unless she followed its command. Court resumes tomorrow with closing arguments expected Monday. So somebody up top said this. He said, there's a woman on the jury melting her brain on TikTok, and another juror told the judge. It's either that or there is a TikTok female, a TikTok rotted brain free female holding up the proceedings, saying that she's innocent, while everybody else is like, man, this bitch is crazy. So it's either one of those two. Maybe it could be both. It could definitely be both. But definitely the judge was probably informed that, there is potentially one or two women in here been caught saying something saying something crazy out of pocket, where it's so much of a situation where this could end up being a mistrial, right? So let's look at this Fox News alert. This is very interesting. I want to see how they word these things here.
Breaking news in the trial of Lindsay Clancy. We just got word the jury is done for the day. Back to Brian Yanis live in Plymouth. What can you tell us about this move, Brian?
Bill, good morning. Well, in about 2 hours, the day is done. Surprising. We thought that it would begin with testimony. It did not. Each juror was questioned by the judge about what we simply don't know, actually. We don't know why the jurors were questioned, but all of a sudden they were. And then there was the witness that went up, the last defense witness. Her name was Shayla Kavanaugh. She did.
Interesting that the court case is taking place in Plymouth. How far is I don't know why I don't remember. I feel like I should know this. How far is Plymouth, Massachusetts from Salem? How far is Plymouth from Salem? Oh, it's like it's about an hour out. Yeah, it's an hour 16. It's an hour 16 away. A little bit more than an hour away from each other. So that's I just wanted to see if I can make a connection.
Testify today. She was a chaplain at Brigham and Women's Hospital who visited with Lindsay Clancy multiple times while she received treatment after the killings. She said that Lindsay alluded to hearing a voice, and that the voice, according to Lindsay, told her that if she did not follow the command, neither she or her children would be safe.
They always talk like this. Is why I think this is cap. They're always saying that they're hearing voices in their head and all. They heard a voice in their head to take away their kids. They're always these people with the voices in their head. They capping. This is why I'm saying I think they're capping. Why is never a voice in their head telling them to do something positive? Why is it never a voice in their head saying, I need to take care of my kids a little bit better? Why does the voices in their head tell them, I need to give my parents some money. They've been struggling lately, right? I be getting those voices in my head. Those are the voices I be getting in my head. So it's very interesting that the voices in people's head, that the voices told them to kill my own kids, and this is my mental this is a mental health situation. Nah, bitch, you need to be hung. Respectfully, you need to be hung. Like literally, where's this boy? Where's this boy? Jake Lang, I think that's his name. Where is Jake Lang when you need him? Right? Ninja passes gas, and this ninja turns into Uncle Ruckus. Then something like this happens, and this dude is silent. By the way, let me see this. Let me see this. Let me see this real quick. Jake Lang. I think that's his name, right? Yeah, this dude is out here talking about Muslims in his speech and not about Lindsay Clancy. What are you doing? This dude's priorities is all in the wrong spots, bro. Out here causing, racial tensions, and this dude he went to the Muslim march. I'm looking at this right now. I'm like, nah, bro, you're needed at home right now. Your women are out of control. These white women are out of control. And they allow this stuff to happen. Like, for real. But anyways, this is, but anyways, let me keep this playing. These voices in their head, it's never it's always for them to do something negative. Never voices in their head to help them to do something for the greater good.
This is important because the defense is arguing that Lindsay Clancy was hearing voices that told her to kill herself and her children, and therefore she was going through a postpartum psychosis, temporary, that caused her to kill her children. She did not know what she was doing was wrong.
That's why I say postpartum depression. Even I say postpartum psychosis. I say postpartum depression is a myth. I've said this and I will continue to say this. Because I knew what the plan was. The plan was to normalize this way of thinking so women can have an excuse when something goes wrong with them and their kids, and they put their kids in physical harm. They have an excuse to where they don't have to face the consequences of putting their children in physical harm's way, or putting their kids in harm's way. Right. So that's why I've always been on this. This is why I've always been like, nah, don't, even with postpartum psychosis, which is very rare. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. There are plenty of men who have deleted people, deleted kids. They clearly weren't mentally fit as well, but that don't matter. You're going to prison. Or you're getting a life sentence, you're getting the electric chair. It does not matter. There used to be, I don't want to, I'm sorry to bring more race into it, but there used to be black boys used to get used to get executed for just looking at white women. That's not no exaggeration. And speaking of which, I'm going to show you something right after this, which has to do with race.
Testimony ended after the prosecution challenged her on a few questions, and now we are dealing with a situation where court will resume tomorrow. The judge says that it will be a, quote, longer day, and then we expect closings on Monday.
So Pyro says, at this point, I don't care anymore. Take their rights away. It's too late, though. It's too late. It's too late. So watch this. This is some very interesting stuff. Somebody made an interesting connection here via Twitter. Right here, somebody made an interesting tweet. Right back in the 1980s. I'm reading from this tweet right here. It says, back in the 1980s and the 90s, dozens of white women used to lie and say black men kidnapped their child, quote unquote racial hoaxes. They ended up killing them. So now it's postpartum. This is very interesting, especially when let's look at the year. When was postpartum? Let's do some research real quick. When was postpartum first diagnosed or first discovered, right? So, whoa. So I was, oh, wow. So they're saying that in the 4th century BC, this was a thing. So let me see here. So then 1858. So they said 4th century. So let's look at this. Early historical milestones. 4th century BC. How do you say his name? I know who this guy is, but I don't know how to say his name. Hippo. How do you say his name? Hippocrates? I hope it's Hippocrates. He says Hippocrates made the first written medical references linking childbirth to mental disturbances and mood changes. 4th century BC, right? In the 13th century, right? In the 1200s, female physician Trotula wrote that postpartum crying and distress resulted from excess moisture traveling to the brain after birth. In 1858, French physician Louis Victor Marseille published the first comprehensive treatise on mental disorders of pregnancy and childbirth, laying the foundation for modern postpartum psychiatric study. Right, but back then, when you talking about back then, especially you talking about 1858 and then late 1800s on, early 1900s on, if it was a bitch talking about, I feel like deleting my kids, they was gonna put her in the mental insane asylum. So this is very interesting. So right here in 1994, that's the date I'm looking for right here. 1994, the American psychiatric community formally and officially recognized postpartum depression as a diagnostic specification in the diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders. So postpartum was a thing, but it was not officially recognized, but it was discovered back in the good old days, right? But in 1994, it was officially a recognized diagnosis. So it's very interesting in 1994. And then right here, we can make this connection, right? Because back in the 1900s, especially when you talk about 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, it was a lot of white women that got even famous for when they'll say something happened to their kids, even though they deleted their own kids, and they would blame it on black men and say that black men kidnapped their kids and all these things. So even what's the case? What was the case that was famous in the 90s? Wasn't her name like Susan Casey Anthony or Susan Anthony or something? It was a white woman in like the 90s where they found out that she deleted her kids. And the police was able to catch on because she said that her kids got kidnapped by two black men. And they said like right away, they were like, nah, something's not right. And then they found like her car. What she did was she drove her car into the river or something with her kids still in there. So that was a very interesting situation. It was around the 1980s and 90s where they started catching on like, nah, these white women be lying about people kidnapping their kids. They be deleting their own kids and then send their white husbands on crazy goose hunts, on wild goose hunts. And a lot of the times, there's a lot of black men that have been victims to this, probably even in the 1900s, right? So right here, somebody even brings this up. He says, I follow this guy on Instagram that looks at newspaper archives from way back to look at racial attitudes. An article from 1909 actually listed the lynchings that occurred that year in their cause. You know what the reason for most of them were? Insulted a white woman. So even back then, if you even looked at a white woman the wrong way, if you were a black man, you were at risk of being lynched. So this is some very interesting stuff. So right here, let's look at this article from NBC News. The black man hoax, because apparently this happened recently. The black man did it hoax sparks outrage. An old lie that the black man did it. It is fueling outrage again after a white mother from suburban Philadelphia staged a hoax saying black men abducted her and her 9-year-old daughter. Bonnie Sweeten Left claimed she and her daughter had been kidnapped by two black men, but instead turned up at Walt Disney World. She is shown here at the Orange County, Florida jail, right? And because the joke is, right, the reason why you'll see today's people will be very skeptical if the average white woman is going to say, look, somebody kidnapped my kids, and then they describe two black men doing it. The reason why the public, I'm not saying the cops, but the public would be skeptical, because black men know if they kidnap some white parents' kids, it's over for them. It's over. Because it's been black men that didn't do it and it was over for them. So that's very interesting that they bring this up, right? And it's very interesting that it's harder to blame people for these types of crimes. And now you're seeing more white women now. They're talking about postpartum and them hearing voices about them harming their own kids. You really now have to hearken back in the days where white kids were getting kidnapped, or sorry, white kids going missing. What really happened to them? Particularly when you're talking about Caucasian kids. What really happened to these Caucasian kids that were going missing? We probably need to start reopening these cases and seeing if there's some connection between their biological mother and where were they that night, and then try to and then go from there. Because that halo effect that a lot of white women have, it's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, you're seeing it right now with Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk wasn't questioned about her situation with her husband and what happened with Charlie Kirk, right? So much so that you have people are mad that you have people just asking a regular question like, why isn't she being questioned, and why is she taking over Turning Point USA when she really should be at home with the kids? She does not need the money, because all the money that she inherited, she's set for life. Her kids are set for generations, right? But for a certain demographic of people, women like that, they don't get questioned, right? So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Shout out to the Crimson Cure, because I did watch her live stream because she was talking about this, and she mentioned that how white men in the suburbs are notorious for not necessarily taking care of their women, or like doing like the doing the household responsibilities or the chores and whatnot. But I pushed back, because today's dudes, particularly we talk about white dudes, or really men of all races, but white dudes, they're doing the dishes. First of all, they're coming home from their shifts and they're still doing the housework, even though the bitch will be home the whole day not doing nothing. Guys are asked to do way more, and they're getting way less. So in Lindsay Clancy's case, the husband worked at home. He had a nanny. They had the parents were able to come over at any time on both sides of the family. What is she talking about in terms of, oh, she was alone? Everything was given to her. He would constantly communicate with her. Patrick Clancy would constantly communicate with Lindsay. It seems like he did everything for her, and it still wasn't enough. It didn't stop her from developing some kind of psychosis, right? So it's very interesting conversation. It's very interesting, when you see these things, right? So also let me see what else we got. So it is very interesting. So right here, let's go on to NBC Boston. Let's see what they have to say about the situation. They say Lindsay Clancy child trial recap. Court ends abruptly after TikToker is questioned. Psychosis testimony. So this is very interesting. I mean, just the fact that a TikToker was just the fact that they say TikToker, we already know that they found out that the TikToker that was questioned was most likely mentally ill. But they said everything will come out on Monday. So okay, so that's fine. But it is very interesting how people are shocked about the results of the trial. Sorry, not the results, but in terms of why she has a whole bunch of female supporters. And to Crimson's Cure's credit, she was right about one thing. Sorry, about a lot of things, but one thing she was definitely right about. A lot of Caucasian women, that are stay-at-home moms, teachers, or they work. They don't work as frequently, but their husband takes cares of most of the things. A lot of them really have a serious resentment towards their husband, only because they're not really doing quote unquote housework. They're not doing enough domestic labor or all these things. And women like that can relate to a Lindsay Clancy because of that. And two other things I do want to point out about this case, right? When it comes to Lindsay Clancy, let's take one thing that we can take from it. Let me see if I can bring up her picture. Let me see if I can bring up her picture. Let me bring up her picture again. So one other thing that I do want to mention, look at her. No disrespect, but look at her. This is why I played that Corey Holcomb clip in the beginning, right? Let me see if I can take this out. Let me play that Corey Holcomb clip from the beginning.
I sit and watch unattractive women address women as if they all have the same struggle. Let me say this one more time so it lands. I watch unattractive women address the female race like they all got the same problems. Let me tell you something. If you're a 3, 4, or a 5, you ain't got no business telling a 7, 8, or 9 shit about the problems of the world.
So obviously I'm not going to play that full clip, but it's very interesting when we do need to bring this dynamic up, because look at her. This is why a lot of these women that you see from Twitter, this is why they relate. This is why they relate. You got the average looking, Caucasian woman that's being spoiled rotten, but they still have a deep resentment because the husband that they chose, or the husband that chose them, isn't really the guy that they want to be with. But without that husband, they would be fucked. So there's a deep resentment that they have. And really, what postpartum depression is, and this is going to be a little bit black pill, but really what postpartum depression is, in my opinion, is it's another version of post-nut clarity. So it's almost like how is the opposite, post-nut clarity for men, how we just want to not, after we get what we want from the woman, we just want to be away. What postpartum depression really is what post-nut clarity is for women. All they wanted was the kid. They didn't really want to be a mom. They were just fulfilling their biological needs. They definitely didn't want to be a wife. Forget that. They didn't really want to be a mom. A lot, especially now these new women, they didn't really want to be a mom in terms of, or the responsibilities of what comes with being a mother. They just wanted to be able to fill something out in the group chat. They just wanted to be a mom just to check a box. And after they do it, it's almost like, you see how when we fuck a bitch that we know we were not supposed to fuck, we just trying to get our nut off, and then we're just looking at the bitch like, oh, what did I do to myself, right? So you'll even have, there's certain dudes that they will get violent after getting post-nut clarity, right? Believe it or not, you'll have certain dudes, you'll have dudes messing with certain individuals that they're not supposed to be messing with. You have dudes messing with transformers. And after post nut clarity, they're so disgusted with themselves. That's why you'll have, or prostitutes in general, or transformer prostitutes, they have to protect themselves because men will get violent with them after they're done with them because they're so disgusted with themselves. Now, take what I just said, right? Because we know that's the truth. That's the same thing with this situation. They get the kids that they want or what they asked for, and they're just looking back, and that now it's all hitting them at once. And they're like, I did not sign up for this. Even though they did, but that's their version of post nut. It's very interesting. So this is very black pill, because this is why I've always made this statement. I'm like, have you ever heard of Future, Nick Cannon, right? Any of these people, all these dudes, or NBA Youngboy, all these dudes with multiple baby mamas and all these things, for some reason, they never have postpartum. I've always wondered why that is. And it's not necessarily because they're messing with the guy that they want, but they're getting everything that they want. They get the money that they want. The guy's not, since he has multiple baby moms, the dad is not always going to be around. So they basically get to do whatever they want with the money that they want. The kid has shared custody, so they don't even really have the kid as much as they think, and they're getting literally everything that they want. Really, they get the kid to just to check off the box. They got pregnant by a rich dude, so that money is going to them. They can always ask for more if the dude is acting up. They're getting a lot out of the deal. Well, only in America, right? So it's a very interesting dynamic. It's a very interesting dynamic, right? Very, very, very interesting dynamic. Now, let's go back to what she looks like, right? And when I said that most of the women, they relate to her because they can see themselves in her. Now, all these supporters that you see outside, right? If Lindsay Clancy did not look like this, and really if she looked like Margot Robbie, right? Or one of these chicks that are actually attractive, right? I don't know who I can bring up as an example, but somebody brought up another female example of a woman that did something similar, and she got zero support from women. But if you look at her, she was pretty attractive for a woman of her stature. If Lindsay Clancy was pretty, she would have zero support. That is another black pill for you when you're talking about intra female competition. That's another part of the game that people are not even one of the big elephants in the room. Because look at these bitches in the crowd. These are all regular, normal looking women, right? I don't see no pretty bitches in this crowd.
Thank you.
These are all old, washed up, post-wall women that you see in this crowd, or women hitting the wall as we speak, right? Like all of these women, as soon as you see that, all I see is this. Right? That's why they all see themselves in her. They see themselves with her. Now, if Lindsay Clancy was pretty, she would have zero support. She would have zero support. This wouldn't even be a thing where we're blaming the husband and, the husband really did this. No, they look at this regular looking white chick, actually pretty ugly looking white chick, and they see themselves in her. Somebody took away her spark, right? So there's so many layers, just so many dynamics to this, where you really where we're seeing really the dark side of female nature coming to light from this case. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, right? Pyro says you can't even ask a question why she's not taking care of her kids, and people get mad when you ask that question. They are NPCs at the fullest. Reaper Rail said, F the Crimson Cure. She's a snake too. Oh, shoot. What happened? Okay. Reaper Rail says she does all of this, man, this and that when she tried to actually copyright the term manosphere so she could grift and profit off the ideology. She got exposed. Oh, no, not her. Not her too. Damn. Damn. Because I know you're not lying about this. Oh man. Well, I'll say this: I'm not subscribed to the Crimson Cure. I don't think I am. No. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not subscribed to the Crimson Cure. But I did happen to watch that live stream. Yeah, exactly. If she looked like Sydney Sweeney or one of these broads. If Lindsay Clancy was Sydney Sweeney or one of these blonde broads that was getting a lot of male attention before, or say if one of these no, I'll just say this, just if she was just a little bit prettier, she would be getting zero support. Especially say if she was 10 years younger. Oh no, they would not be giving her no support. Lindsay Clancy, what, she's about 35 years old, 35, 36 years old. They all see themselves. They're like, I'm Sydney Sweeney. So that's what, Crimson was talking about that. Kendra was talking about that. So I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense. But damn. She wanted to put a copyright on them. Oh Lord. Man. That's just, oh man. I know all of them are chameleons, but this one, damn. You've got to be kidding me. But it's not. I'll say this. It shouldn't be surprising, though. It shouldn't be surprising. Right. But that's a shame. That's a damn shame. That's definitely a damn shame. Let me exit out of this. Let me do one more search. By the way, right, like this is how crazy this world is right now. Watch this. So on Twitter, I don't know why this is even trending on Twitter, but it is, right? They say Patrick Clancy spotted with new wife amid ex-wife's murder trial. I don't know why they're shocked that he broke up with the woman that deleted his kids. I'm like, what did you expect him to be like? For him to be still with his wife? You still wanted him to be? You wanted to still be with his ex-wife? Why would he still be with a woman that that deleted his kids? That I don't get it. But the way that they're posting this and they're like, oh, he already has a new wife. Of course he has a new wife. He ain't. You thought he was going to stay with her? Are you kidding me? You're lucky. That's why. So shout out to this comment right here. He says that Lindsay Clancy is lucky that he didn't delete his wife. Most dudes would go crazy and delete their wife if they found out that their wife deleted their kids. So he's not easy. So even a man that has a wife that deletes their kids, he's not allowed to leave him. That's crazy. Garrett Grant said, postpartum or not, it takes a lot of effort and a certain mentality to delete someone by strangulation. That can't be hand waved away with insanity, in my opinion. Facts. But I told you, this case scares me because I think they're going to find a way to make it where she doesn't serve the time that she really needs to serve. And now we're at a point. We're at a point now where, remember when women were having that stupid bear discussion? I think it's fair now to say, look, if my newly born kid, who is my newly born kid safer with, safer to be with, a postpartum wife, an alleged postpartum wife, or a bear? This is actually a legit question in 2026, because the way that I've seen women respond to this and make excuses for this woman, and how women are blaming, hormones for them not controlling themselves, it's almost like they don't even realize this, but we've gone full circle. The most independent woman of all time, the most self-reliant, they still can't control themselves. It's actually worse. We can't really trust them to be around kids in 2026. It's crazy how it's just full circle. Because back in the day, there was actually a cure for all of this. We call it the Great Reset. There's a thing that men used to do to women back in the days that didn't act right. It would be when they wouldn't act right. But you can't. You're not allowed to do stuff like that. And but lo and behold, the results 30 years later. Look at 40 years later. Look at the results of that. 30 to 40 years later, right? Because I don't even know how I would react if I were to marry abroad, right? And all of that. I don't know what I would do if I found out that same woman deleted my kids. I don't know what I would do with myself. So, shout out to Patrick Clancy. She must have been really been a real serious piece of work, like a real serious piece of work, right? So, man, this case right here. This case is crazy. This case is but to bring it back home, postpartum is not a thing. It's really something else. It's really something else. It's really PNC, but for women. It's really PNC, but for women. But if we really dive into that, it's going to be a lot of people getting their feelings hurt. It's going to be a lot of men. It's going to be a lot of men's feelings getting hurt. It's going to be a lot of women's feelings getting hurt, and also it's going to be a lot of women rejecting that theory, because it's going to really put women in a really negative light. But the way I described it is it's spot on. I'm sorry, because I've never seen, like, what's that one chick that's there's like one chick that she got like pregnant by like 3 different NFL men. She has it's like each kid is a different NFL man. I forgot what her name is. Has she ever talked about postpartum? They don't talk about that. Or you got these women that they get impregnated by these NBA dudes or these celebrities, and they never talk about postpartum. Has any of Cam Newton's broads ever talk about postpartum? But there's a pattern though. There's a pattern there. There's definitely a pattern there that I'm noticing. So it really is, in my opinion, a post-nut clarity situation, but with women. They wanted the kid, but it's not. They didn't really want her to be a wife. They didn't even really want to be a mom. And they're looking at the guy that they procreated with, and they're just looking at him like, ugh, I did not want to do that with him. I just wanted a kid. I didn't really want a kid with him, right? So this is some very interesting stuff. But anyways, I'm on a hard time schedule today. I do have to leave. I went 15 minutes overtime, so I'm surprised I even had time to do some a live stream today. I think this is my 4th live stream in a row. I don't know. I think it's my fourth live stream. Is it my fourth live stream in a row? This has to be a record of some sort. It has to be. No, no, because I skipped oh no. So they got so I did I think Sunday or Saturday, whatever I did. But then I did Monday, it looks like I did Tuesday, and I think I did yesterday. I think I did yesterday. I could be wrong. But yeah. Yeah. I've been on fire with these lives lately. I've been really pushing it with these lives. So, man, it is what it is. I do have a hard time schedule. I do got to be out. Shout out to Dre God. Hey, long time no see. He says, "What up, Chris? Been a minute. Sorry to tell you this, but Candace came out in support of this woman. Are you dead serious? No way. No way. Let me look this up real quick before I'm out. Because I said I think yesterday or my last live stream, it was a lot of women in the conservative party that sent that's basically sent sympathetic type messages towards toward 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 Lindsay Clancy. Even Candace? Oh my God. This is bad, bro. This is really bad. I'll say this though. When it comes to the politics side of things, the way that liberals have been attacking the weakness of between the relationship between the small hats and the Republican Party, what the Republican Party should do as a counterattack, they need to attack this what I just covered. They need to put all the women on blast and should be like, look, you guys are mad at us about this, but what about this on your side? Why are we supporting child deletion? That's if I was that would be because when it comes to politics is politics. It's not like they actually care about this stuff, but this would help. This would help with the Republican number. This would help with the numbers if they were to just go full fledged, because that's what the liberals are doing. They're attacking the weakness that the Republicans have with the relationship between the Republicans and the small hats. They're just attacking that, right? Let me see. Candace Owens and Lindsay Clancy. I cannot believe this. Oh my God. This is crazy work. I'm looking at this article as we speak. Oh my God. This is really bad, bro. This is bad. How about this? It looks like she said this today. It looks like she said this, or sorry, not today. It looks like she said this today. I'm looking at this Twitter. I'm looking at the India Times. They posted this. Let me this is crazy work, actually. This is crazy work. They say Candace Owens has publicly backed Lindsay Clancy, saying she is obviously not guilty in the deaths of her 3 kids. You know what? Andrew Wilson, this is how I know that Andrew Wilson is a paid off shill. Or they should have waited and then attacked her for this. Because I'm telling you guys right now, I would have backed Andrew Wilson to debate this. This is what Republicans need to attack the left-leaning women, even though we know Candace Owens isn't left-leaning, but this is what they need to attack. This situation right here. They need to honestly just take the L when it comes to the the CK situation, the Israel situation, specifically the Israel situation, and then just go this. This would be exactly right here. Garrett Grant, you're right. He's a conservatives going full MRA would be a good pivot for once. Hey, guys, remember when I said this? I said, look, I don't trust Orange Man at all, especially since the CK situation. But I said this. I said the only way you're going to see me outright support a politician, specifically if it doesn't even matter if it's Orange Man or not. But I said if Orange Man eliminates child support, I said I will go on screen. I would put my face on screen, and you will see me with the Make America Great Again hat if he eliminates child support. I said this last year. I said, look, I know I'm not the biggest politician. I've never been a fan of politicians, but whoever eliminates child support, but especially if you're talking about Orange Man, if he eliminates child support, if he does something similar of that ilk, if he does even one of three of these things, right? Eliminate child support, legalize prostitution, or make DNA tests mandatory. If he just boom, we have to do this. I will go on stream and be I will go on stream. I'm telling you, I swear on everything. I will put on my Make America Great. Well, I don't have a hat, but I will order a Make America Great hat and I will wear it on stream the whole time. And I might even give the small hats a break for a couple streams. I'm dead serious. Conservatives need to go full MRA. That would be a good pivot. Why don't that would be a great pivot. But they not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that because first of all, female women make up most of the vote, so they're not trying to isolate that demographic. But this would be the perfect time. The problem is that the problem with the Christian, specifically the Christian conservatives, they don't want to be known as like the people of the Middle East, right? So anytime you'll see like certain laws will pass in the Middle East, in like in Dubai or somewhere in the UAE or Saudi Arabia, right? Yemen, right? One of these, Afghanistan. Anytime something passes where it gives the men the leverage and then women less rights, they attack them for saying that. And the reality is, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It's really something that we should just pay attention to and keep that, in our back pocket. But unfortunately, most of the conservatives, even the men, they're the biggest feminists. They're the biggest feminists. Man, that's crazy. That's what, man, I'll say this is an out for Andrew Wilson. Mind you, I don't fuck with Andrew Wilson at all. At all. But this right here, he can get he could get away with that L that he took with that debate and really go in on this specific issue. This is an opportunity for Andrew Wilson to not only redeem himself, but redeem the conservative party. They need to attack this. But I'll say this. I wonder what Rachel Wilson has to say about this. I wonder what, I'm going to assume that Rachel Wilson is going to do exactly what Andrew Wilson tells her to do. But it's a lot of conservative women that came out the bad with this Lindsay Clancy thing. Like I've seen people, even the dudes that love Lila Rose, when Lila Rose said what she said, the dudes were like, how could you? Because I always said that Lila Rose, she's the worst of them all, in my opinion. Lila Rose is the worst of them all. I don't trust her at all, right? She's the worst of them, right? But she said what she said about Lindsay Clancy, and dudes were shocked. I was like, I told you that bitch evil. I told you. But yeah, this is a shocker. This is a shocker. I thought Candace Owens would have the complete opposite approach. This is crazy work. This is crazy work, man. Thank you, Dre God. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. This is because I was literally about to exit the stream. I was literally about to exit the stream until you told me this. This is crazy. Yo, this is crazy. This is like I said, since everybody puts politics over everything, people are not about right and wrong anymore. I'll say this is a great opportunity for the conservatives to capitalize. But I don't think the conservatives, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Because this is actually something that they'll get a lot of support. I think there's a good portion of women that would support the conservative men for going full MRA mode on this topic. On this topic, yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yeah, they say Candace Owens says Lindsay Clancy was put into intentional psychosis. That's crazy. That is crazy. Oh my goodness. Let's look at this. Yeah, apparently this just happened right now during my stream. This is crazy. Man.
I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that she was arrested, the moment that it made the news. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they put her on. I regularly speak out against Big Pharma. They get away with murder all the time. And in this case, they are getting away with the murder of really her 3 children, but also completely destroyed her life. When Lindsay Clancy, in my opinion, is not guilty. She was put into an intentional psychosis when she probably just needed to give her kids away for a weekend to get better, but they constantly give you these drugs that do not make things better. And the cocktail of 10 pharmaceuticals that she was on is absolute madness. Absolute madness. I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that...
Yeah, I'm shocked. Somebody said I'm shocked. This is crazy work. This is crazy work. Because it was a whole bunch of conservative women that had similar sentiments. I'm talking about a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of them, man. Whole bunch of female conservative accounts was getting ripped. Yeah, this is bad. I'm definitely not rocking with this. Dre God says Trump is a feminist too. No way he does that. Yeah, they're not gonna eliminate child support. They're not gonna do it. Shout out to K Plan 1142. He says, greetings. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Yes, we get it. Yes, we know Big Pharma and these drugs. We know these hoes been taking these SSRIs since they were teenagers. We get that and all that, but no. She needs to be given the freaking chair. But I'll say that this is an opportunity for Andrew Wilson right here. This is a huge opportunity. I'll just say a huge opportunity for the conservatives. Yep, Garrett Grant, you're exactly right. I'm gonna credit you with that. They need to go full. Let me see if I can find his old comment. Garrett Grant said conservatives going full MRA would be a good pivot for once. If they go full MRA, people won't even care about the small hat stuff. They won't, believe it or not. You go full MRA. This is the perfect time to go full MRA. Talk about locking down men's support forever. That would be the move right here. Pyro says, as much as respect for her, she has to take the L on this one. Now, I forget respect. I cannot rock with her at all, bro. Like there's certain takes you cannot have. I'm sorry. There's certain takes you cannot have. But for some reason, women are for some reason they're cool with this. Candace, let me ask you a question, Candace, before I leave. If Erica Kirk had similar sentiments, would you have that same opinion? Would you have that same opinion? If Erica Kirk had similar sentiments, or she got caught doing the exact same thing, or even something less than if she had a similar charge, would you keep that same energy? We gotta start being honest about why we do the things that we do, because we all know if Lindsay Clancy was looked like Margot Robbie, or what's the, or Hayden what's the young lady that recently passed away, the white lady, I forgot what her name is. She just passed away 2 days ago. Hayden Patnier. If it was one of those chicks that got caught doing something that Lindsay Clancy did, they would all be saying that she's guilty and she needs to be given the chair. This is crazy work. This case, this Lindsay Clancy thing, has been a real eye opener for the normies. But I'll say this, damn. This, like, we really need to. This is crazy. So Dre God said this whole situation is crazy, man. Craziest thing I've seen this year. A bunch of women in this country are dangerous as F. But look, bro, look, yo. Let me show you that video again of the support that this woman is getting, right? Forget just online. These people are outside. Look at these women. Look at this. These women are all outside the courthouse supporting Lindsay Clancy. This is crazy. These, mind you, I don't even see a whole bunch of young women in there. These are millennial women and Gen X women I'm seeing here. These are millennials and Gen X that I see. Millennial and Gen X. This is crazy. Yeah, Hayden Panettiere. Yeah, if Hayden Panettiere did the same thing, these same women that you see outside supporting Lindsay Clancy, they would be saying that Hayden needs the electric chair immediately. Because we all know how women are. We all know. If you ask, anytime there's a situation like that, it's like you got to vote a woman out or something. Like, say you have a whole bunch of women at work and they got to make cuts or somebody needs to leave. They're going to vote out the prettiest girl. That's what they do. Or somebody tells you, oh, which daughter would you, which woman would in your soccer team you would allow your son to date or your brother to date? They all pick the prettiest girl. They all pick the prettiest girl. This is what they do. This is some interesting. This case is. This is an interesting case of, like, this case is just showing like just all the dark sides of female nature that society has been refusing to really address, specifically when it comes to white women that like this, particularly when you're talking about middle-aged white women, millennial white women. I bet you if we do a survey of all these women outside supporting Lindsay, I'm telling you, most of these are teachers. Most of these are teachers. I promise you, these are mostly stay-at-home moms and teachers. Facts. These are stay-at-home moms and teachers in that crowd, and a couple of nurses. Like, these people need to be doxxed, like immediately doxxed. Yep, a whole crowd of mids. Garrett Grant said, ironically, Hayden was dealing with postpartum, yet she didn't delete her kid. I don't even want to call it. Like I said, I ain't calling it postpartum because it's not a thing. This is what it's really it's post nut clarity for women. That's all it is. It's PNC. Dre God said, yeah, this is beyond politics because there's no doubt in my mind women on both sides of the spectrum are in that crowd. Facts. But it's still like we all know everything is like this is America. Everything is driven by entertainment, politics, and drugs. They call it big pharma, but it's drugs. Everything is drugs, entertainment, politics, and politics is part of the entertainment. That's what America runs on: drugs and entertainment. So this is an opportunity for like where's Turning Point USA when you really need them? Yes, they took the video of this. So shout out to Turning Point USA for putting a spotlight on this, and they should just focus on this. Like this, I can get behind Turning Point USA with this. I can get behind this. I definitely can get behind. I can get behind this. But right now, Turning Point USA, they're kind of fucked up because they already got this. Because they already got Erica Kirk. Who knows? Because Erica Kirk might think she probably thinks the same way. Even though, because if you actually look at the stuff that she was guilty of in the past, the stuff that she has in her past, so yep. Gary Gray says facts. MRAs and MGTOW should have a field day with this case right now. This is the opportunity that we're talking about, where we should be putting men's rights at the forefront. This is the perfect opportunity to do that. Because what is your what case can you put against? What case can you put against a person like me saying? Because I've had this theory, and I've said this on this channel a couple of times, where I feel like, and I know I rarely say I feel like, but I've always felt like you've had female teachers. I feel like they've been tanking their male students' grades on purpose. That's just me. I've been feeling like this since I was a kid. And when you're seeing these things come to light, the open misandry that we have today, there's no way. There's no way I'm wrong about this. There's no way I'm wrong about this. Dominic Dorazio says, let Barbaras go. We want Barbaras. Ugh, no. Oh, no. Mm-mm. Got a whole bunch of ugly bitches out there cheering on a child, a woman that I'm talking about strangled all three of her kids. Talking about I'm talking about they cool with this, and now the bitch is talking about that she heard a voice in her head and all this that, man, what is wrong with these people, bro? Yeah, Dre God said Erica Kirk is a honeypot In my honest opinion, I'll leave it at that. Oh yeah, yeah. We need some brave leaders to come out and really be like on the forefront of this. But the conservative, I'll say this: the conservative males, they're just gonna complain about it. I think Matt Walsh right now, I don't know if I would have sworn the last time he was in trouble with Ben Shapiro. So I'm like, it's not the big personalities, they're not gonna do anything. They're just gonna talk about it and just be, concerned. They're gonna be concerned, but he's not gonna do anything. Because from the looks of it, it seems like conservatives have been, particularly the conservative males, particularly the bigger conservative males, they have been relegated to defending small hat country at all costs. I'm talking about above all things, defend small hat country. That's what it seems like. That's what the assignment is. And really, this is a big opportunity for them to really take control of the narrative and make a full pivot, like Garrett Grant said, and their credibility would really it would really help with their credibility, right? Where even if you have a guy like me, I'm willing to get behind that, and I don't I'm not no political person at all. If you can get somebody like me behind that's saying a lot, right? Garrett Grant says he's hearing voices like Randy Orton. Yeah, these they're always talking about all these people that always, oh man, I was hearing voices and all this stuff. They never hear. It's always for them to do something bad. It's never them hearing voices for them to do something good. You ever notice that? Nobody ever says, man, I was hearing voices and all this, and they were telling me to, um to help to help my brother with his college dream so he can become a doctor. It's never that. It's never, I was hearing voices to give this homeless man some money for food or it's just the voices. I just couldn't shut them up, and I had to. It's never I heard voices to go to the VA and help the veterans that have been taken advantage of by the government, the clergymen, the people of the law, to go and volunteer at a VA office. It's never that. It's always so they can delete somebody. People always want to say, I want to, oh man, I'm just matching your energy. Why don't people ever match the energy when somebody does something nice to them? Why don't you match the energy back and be nice back? But anyways, it's always something negative. That's why I think all of this is cap. Postpartum depression is cap. Postpartum psychosis, I'm leaning towards, is cap, because first of all, it's already a very rare phenomenon. We did a stream about that already. It's a very, very rare thing. It's a very rare diagnosis. There's a difference between postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis, but I already believe that postpartum depression is cap. And postpartum psychosis, I think, is cap as well. These are things that I feel that they've been pushing these things so women can have an excuse later on when they fuck up. That's just what I see. But anyways, thank you guys. I didn't know I was gonna sign off at 7:15, really at 7:00, but I apparently Candace Owens. Wow, I'm really disappointed in her. You don't even ever see me say this on this channel when women do certain things, but I'm really disappointed in Candace. This because this is just an unacceptable take. I don't give a fuck what drug she taking. This bitch need to be hung. Shout out to what's this boy's name? Jake Lang. Where's Jake Lang when you need him? Jake Lang out here trying to cause ruckus at a Muslim march. Meanwhile, we need Like men need to be all hands on deck with this situation. But we out here tackling shit that means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Crazy work, absolutely crazy work. I'm a check out because I gotta go to a rehearsal. Shout out to you guys. Thank you. Take it easy. Dre God, thank you for sending me that. Because I think the algorithm would have hid that from me. The algorithm would have hid that from me. And hopefully, I hope to God that Andrew Wilson attacks this. He needs to attack this immediately. So shout out to you guys. Thank you. Take it easy. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna set the outro video to the Corey Holcomb video from the beginning. I don't know if I added it to the set. I don't know if I added that video to my thing. But let's do that. Let's see if I can add that real quick. But that will be a perfect outro video. Peace, man. Peace, man. Man, thank you guys. Dre God, thank you for sending me that. The algorithm would have hid that from me because my algorithm right now is just all praise for Candace Owens. So because of the Andrew Wilson thing. So I had to really been like even I've been looking at I'm seeing liberal people pop up on my timeline. I'm like, whoa, nah, look, I appreciate the beat down that he put on Andrew, but I'm not no. This is not what we're doing. So I really appreciate you sending me that. So this is something that this is crazy. This is really crazy. But anyway, shout out to you guys. Take it easy. Shout out to 5150 with this clip here. Peace out.
I sit and watch unattractive women address women as if they all have the same struggle. Let me say this one more time so it lands. I watch unattractive women address the female race like they all got the same problems. Let me tell you something. If you're a 3, 4, or 5, you ain't got no business telling a 7, 8, or 9 shit about the problems of the world because they don't have the same problems you have. But everybody lie and say they're 7, 8, 9. This is the problem. And if you say, bitch, you a 2, you a dirty motherfucker for even saying that.
That's definitely TikTok all day. It'd be some obese, crazy-looking broads talking about, don't you let him, girl.
I like 4s. I can afford 4s.
That's real shit, though. Man, did you hear what he said?
Well, and plus you like what you like, Marv. If you like something, and Corey,
you don't fuck what you like when you ain't got no paper. You fuck what you gotta fuck.
Oh Lord Jesus God!
Ain't no man out there who ain't got no paper fucking the girl of his dream.
I don't know. You that
every
fly,
man out there who ain't got no paper is with a bitch they can't wait to do better than.
Because the bitches I really like, they don't like me back. But
welcome to the real world, Marv.
But with the foes.
Hey, I be doing pretty well for myself.
Horrible looking women with egos. That's just a slap in the face at the righteousness of the world.